Donald Trump's going to crash the US economy. Well, the tariffs are certainly doing some damage and the stock market's on very shaky ground as to what's going on. But let's actually unbox the tariffs and how they affect the average day working American. Now, any increase in cost generally is passed on to the consumer. So yes, they are going to feel it. And 145% sounds like a lot. If we have heard and believe some of the headlines, iPhones are going to cost $3.5 grand and everything's going to spiral out of control and everyday average Americans aren't going to be able to afford anything. Well, let's actually look at, say, $100 pair of Nike trainers. They are imported from China, and basically Nike have exported all the labour, all the logistics, all the manufacturing to China, and they're making them over there for $10 and they're bringing them into the US at $10. The markup is $100, so they're but gross net is obviously, say, $90. Now, 145% goes on the wholesale price of $10, not the retail price of $100. So you're looking at that $10 pair of trainers is it $24.5 as opposed to $10. So yes, it is eating into profits and Nike's bottom line, but it's not 145% on top of $100, which would see trainers to be quite expensive. Now, the other thing as well you need to remember is the US probably doesn't export all too much to China versus what China imports into the US. And what Trump's kind of trying to do is he's trying to encourage companies to bring the manufacturing back to the US. Now, this ain't going to happen fast and it ain't going to happen overnight, and it's probably going to take decades, really. And subsequent governments who believe in the end long-term vision of Donald Trump to make it be a reality and see it through. Now, whether we're going to see the fruition of his idea, I don't know. But obviously, don't get scaremongered into thinking that all your products' retail price are going to go up 145% because it's on the wholesale price. And another thing is what you kind of need to think of is China's prospered a lot off the back of imports, products that they export to the US and what the US imports. And they've obviously improved their economy and they've invested in infrastructure and schools and everything over there. And the import tax on Chinese goods goes to the US government. So it's their little tax that they can spend to increase and improve things in the US of A. Take the UK, where we have very little steel production in the UK, which is in the headlines at the moment. We probably import a good chunk of steel. And that's the problem. When things aren't made in your country, you rely heavily on imported goods and other countries' economic state, facilities to produce, workforce, human rights. Like, there's so much that goes into